All right, let's get started. Tonight we're going to be talking all about little people and big feelings. You're all here. Maybe you have a little person at home with some big feelings. Maybe we're the ones with the big feelings. But we're going to get into it and talk all the things tonight. So a little bit about me. Hi, I'm Brooke. Nice to meet you or get to see you. A lot of familiar faces. Some of you are in my class. Some of you are not, but I see you in the hallway. So just a little bit about me tonight. I've been in the field of ECE for the past 7 years, and I've worked with kids, infants, all the way to grade school. I have my master's in early childhood and my bachelor's in child development and family studies from Cal State Long Beach. And I currently teach pre-K here, but I also work part-time as a professor at night, so I teach at 3 colleges right now. So when I'm not here, I do that at night. And then I'm really passionate about ECE and educating other people. So thanks for letting me share my passions with you all tonight. I know it's probably weird for a few of you who get to see me with your kids all day, but I promise I've been to school a long time. I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. And that's our big feelings. Good timing. All right, so some topics we're going to talk about tonight. Self-regulation, what is it? What to do when your little one is having those big moments. Some calm down techniques, listening and focusing skills. We're going to figure out that most of it is because we're not listening, and that's why we end up having all these emotions at the end of it. Some recommendations for books for toddler and preschool, resources, and Q&A. In there you have the PowerPoint in case this is a little bit far, and there's also at the end there's a form for you to fill out. Let us know your thoughts, anything we could work on, what you want to see more of. That really helps us with your feedback, and then there's a feelings chart in there as well that maybe could help you. All right, the number one thing we're talking about tonight, self-regulation. So what is it? This is the definition. It is one of the most important skills for young children to learn in their first few years of life, right? We know this, but however, we forget that it has to be taught. We just think, come on, like get in the car, get your shoes on, we gotta go. But we have to be taught on how to regulate our emotions to be able to put those shoes on, listen to our parents, and get in the car. So we'll be talking all about that. The good news is the first 5 years are so important. There are a lot of things they're learning. So at school, we're working on self-regulation all of the time, and you're working on it at home. But it is normal to have these issues and to be working on our self-regulation. So self-regulation is the skill that allows children to manage their thoughts, feelings, behaviors. That's a lot. They're thinking thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. If they can't manage all three, that's when we see the tantrums or crying or unable to use our words to express what we need. Like we talked about it. So just like writing and reading, it is something that has to be taught. But often we forget. We know we have to teach them how to read. We know we have to teach them to write, but we forget. We have to teach you how to calm down. We have to teach you how to regulate your emotions. Most of us can probably think back and not remember how we learned to be calm. However, someone did teach us somewhere. So hopefully tonight I can teach you a little bit and you guys can take it home and practice it. It is more than one skill. It is 3 things they're working on at the same time. So they're working on their executive function. This is their working memory. They're trying to remember things, and if you're giving 3-step instructions, you lost about the first. So if you're saying, put your shoes on, eat your breakfast, and get in the car, they're still thinking about the first thing you asked. So slow it down. Start with that one thing you want them to work on their memory to get it done. Flexible thinking. This is really hard. Some kids are really type A, right? Some people are really type A, and they like what they like. And anything that is change is hard. That's when you're going to see more emotions, more feelings. So they're working on how to be flexible. So with this, if they get pain on their hands and they're upset, instead of being like, oh, you're upset, it's pain. Instead, just be like, it's fine, it's flexible, we can work with it. When you're done painting, we can get the wipey. Those are all things that are gonna help them later. It starts with food as an infant. If they're upset every single time they get dirty, then that's not going to be very flexible as they get older. Some kids are just, I could think of one in particular that is just, she likes what she likes, right? I want a wipey, my hands are dirty, I need that wipey. So that's just some personalities, that's some temperaments. You have to work with each kid, and each kid is going to be very, very different. Self-control, it's a big one. Working on our body movements. When you're upset, it's okay to be upset, however, it's not okay to throw your body. But why? Because you're gonna get hurt. You have to give the why to everything. As soon as they start able to ask you why, they're gonna get a why to everything. So might as well just start giving them the why before they even ask you for it, and just very matter of fact. If you throw your body, you're gonna get hurt. If you throw your toy, you're gonna break it. That's matter of fact, right? And when they break that toy, I told you so. I told you that was gonna happen. So just letting them know, we have to work on our self-control. If you're upset, let's grab something else we can throw. If you wanna kick something, let's kick a ball. So giving them another choice that allows them to still be in control. The next one would be emotional regulation. They need to be able to control those big feelings. They have a lot in their little tiny bodies that they're working on. So all of these would be anger, excitement, stress, anxiety. They can't say, I'm stressed. So we have to read those cues to see, why are they acting like this? Did they just move from one classroom to another? That's a big transition. Did we just move from one house to another? Did we just potty train? All of these things are big reasons why you might see behaviors. Or families in town, like all the attention that they want. All of those things are emotional regulation that they're working on. Behavioral regulation is the next one. Able to engage in healthy behaviors. So this is classroom behavior that's able to be waiting turns, following rules, and then suppressing their anger. So when they're angry, instead of punching somebody or hitting somebody, they're able to hold on to it. Maybe they grab a fist, or maybe they take a toy that they want to hold, or we could talk more about toys that help those things in a little bit, but they're not going to use it in active violence at that time. So this is all the things we're working on. It's a lot. So stress and anxiety in young children often shows in big feelings and emotions. So if they're all stressed or you're stressed, they read it and they can't say, I'm stressed, I have anxiety. They don't know what that is, right? So they're expressing it. So I've had children that would pull their hair or twirl their hair when they get anxious. Those are all ways to tell me I'm stressed, I need help. Because if you don't help me, I'm gonna start crying, and then it's gonna be a 15-minute process. So if we see the first cue of the twirling the hair and spinning in circles, or not wanting to engage in circle time because something happened, all of those things are them trying to talk to us, but maybe they don't have the words yet, or maybe they don't know how to say that. So it's our job to try to help them find those words to tell us, hey, I need a minute, or I don't feel like joining the carpet right now. Can I come in 2 minutes? All of those things are little ways for them to talk to us. So some big things to remember tonight. All children are different. Every single one of yours is different. Every child I've ever worked with is different. So what works with one is not gonna work with the other. So we're gonna talk pretty broadly tonight. Also siblings. You could have some really easy ones, and you can have a very tough temperament. That's all normal. So try not to compare. It's easy to do so, but just remember they're all different. And then the biggest thing, what works with one is not gonna work with the next. So you're gonna have to try new ways, and then what worked yesterday might not work today. It worked really great yesterday, we had a wonderful day, and then today we are just not listening, right? So we're having all these big feelings, we're throwing tantrums. So try something new. That takes a lot out of us. So that's a hard part that we're going to talk about. So the most important thing, probably why you're here tonight, what to do when your little one has big feelings. The first one, be calm and present. Now this is probably the most difficult. You all have busy lives. You all have a lot of other things you're thinking of. I could think if you worked all day and then you picked up your kid, you're trying to cook dinner, you're stressed, you're tired, and then your child's throwing a tantrum, you're over it, right? You don't have the energy to deal with it. But you have to remember it's the first time they've seen you all day. They probably just want your attention. Most of the time it's attention-seeking behavior, and all they want is someone to be there and help them feel these emotions. So try to be calm as much as you can, but give yourself grace. It's hard. I'm not a parent, God willing, one day, but I'm a teacher, and I can tell you it's hard. There's a lot of times that I will be like, hey, can someone step in? I've tried everything. You play good cop, bad cop. You have the first person try, doesn't work, the next person try. If that doesn't work, then you come back and try. You need a minute to walk out. You need to take a shower, come back to them. Totally fine. Just remember to give yourself grace too. And then when you're distracted or upset, often things get worse. If you fight fire with fire, it's gonna get worse. If they're already up here, they're not listening to you. They're seeing red. Nothing you say in that moment matters, so don't even try. Let's come back to it in 10 minutes. Let's read some books about it. You might not even realize we're talking about your behavior, but we're reading a book about it. So this is like one of my favorite things, like a timer, a visual timer. We'll talk about it in 2 minutes. They might not even realize you flipped the timer and they're just staring at the sand. And that's enough to calm their little bodies down. These are on Amazon. And then if you want a smaller one, to take in the car with you, right here, bring in your pocket. And these are great too. It's also a great way when you're telling them, we're leaving the house, we're eating dinner, we're going to bed. You have 2 minutes. And then tell them, check the timer. They're in control. You're really in control, but they think they are the one. The next one would be emphasize, give empathy, and help them find the words. I see you're upset. I hear you. However, we can't read another book because it's too late. I know you want to do that, but maybe tomorrow you'll clean up your toys faster. Those are all things you're telling them. I see you, I hear you, I empathize with you. However, it is what it is, right? You're still the parent, and that's the teacher's role too. If I slowed down my day for every child who told me, don't clean up, we would never do anything. We'd just sit on the carpet all day. So just remember that you are still in control, you are still their parent. However, it's okay to say, like, I see you're upset. I hear you. I totally understand that. You have every right to be upset. It is hard when we have to put our toys away. However, this is why we're doing it. And then talk them through it. Can you tell me what's making you so upset? Usually that's enough at school just to open a whole can of worms. They're telling me about their night and their brother who did that last week, and like, yeah, I'm sure your mom already handled that, but in the moment, can you tell me what's making you so upset? It's a very open-ended word, very open-ended question. It's not a yes or no statement. And then, do you need a minute to calm down before we talk about it? Sometimes they're gonna say no, but you could say, I still think we do. Let's flip the timer, I'll come back, or I'm gonna go, pick up dinner and then I'll come talk to you in a second, letting them know that. And then number 4, problem solve. So you're gonna work together to find a solution. I think all day I say, how do we solve this problem? You're letting them solve, you're working on their problem solving skills, and then when they give you an answer that's like maybe left field, you could redirect back, like, how do we solve the problem that you're upset about bath? I want to bring this toy in the bath. Cool. If that's going to make you not fight me to take the bath, sure, go ahead. So letting them have some control and then revert it back to what you still need. The main goal is to take that bath. The main goal is to go to bed. The main goal is to get out of the house for school. So allowing them to be able to problem solve with you. This will help in school a lot too in a group setting. So what are some big calm down techniques? When they're on the carpet, they're laying down, they're screaming, nothing in the moment you say are they going to hear you. So don't waste your breath. Instead, just say, take a deep breath, breathe with me. Many times as an adult, if you are upset and you try to take a deep breath, you're gonna feel better. I think we sometimes forget that too, but it totally helps. So that's a great way. Some sensory items, a way to distract them in a way, but different outlets. Redirection. You know it's about to happen, but maybe you ask a question about something else. And you guys do it all the time when you're trying to get them to leave. I see a lot of redirection. Oh, let's go at home. Let's go see the fish. Let's go to the dinner. That's all redirection. You're getting them, their mind, they are fixated on that one thing. They are so upset about something. You are redirecting that behavior. You can do it before you even, as you see the behavior happening, you can stop it and redirect in the moment. That helps a lot. And then intense activity. Get them outside. I will say there's more behaviors inside than outside, right? Inside, we're cooped up. Rainy days, I'm sure, are rough at home too. Just a lot. It's tight. There's more things to do. Let them breathe some fresh air. Get outside. The puzzles aren't working. We just need to go outside. Let's run. Let's go to the park. Let's get all our energy out. You probably have an easier time at the park than you do at home in that room, right? So letting them channel their energy. When we're upset, we go to the gym, or some people enjoy doing that. But I do. I love to go run or work out, and then that makes me feel better. That's the same thing. You're letting them have an outlet. Go play soccer. Go run. And then the next one would be calm activities. If your child is not into that, that is totally fine. But maybe doing some reading, some yoga, some meditation, all these ways. There's books that voices are not for yelling, hands are not for hitting. All of these things are great for them. Alphabet breathing, taking deep breaths in, alligator breath, butterfly breath. All of this, they don't even realize that they're working on their deep breathing when they're reading these books with you. This one is very clear. What to do when you feel like hitting. We're going to find anything else but to hit. So when you feel angry, you draw a picture. When you feel like hitting somebody, go to a calm down place. If you feel like hitting, say, I'm mad, I'm sad. It's okay to have these feelings, but channeling them in a better way. And then this is one of my very favorites, the color monster. It talks about how you're feeling, what the color is of that emotion. When you're yellow, it's happiness. It's like the sun and the stars. This is sadness in a sky, in a sea. Red, you're angry. It's like a fire. You have to stomp it out. And then asking them, what color do you feel like? Most of the time when you're asking these questions, they don't realize, wow, you're asking about me, like how I feel. They just know that this is how I feel in that moment. And then cards to talk about it. I'm sad. They can pick out all these cards and just let you know, I'm sad. This is my emotion. This is how I feel. If they need a calm down corner in their room or somewhere in the house that you have all these toys, I'm angry. I feel mad and grumpy. You're giving all those labels to the feeling. This one's a book about our heart. It's all about feelings. This is, I would say, more preschool appropriate, and this is definitely more toddler, straight to the point. But all of those are great discussion, and then having that place to calm down for them. These are sensory timers. They're everywhere, but they are just a calm way to look at the way that the liquid goes down, and it has helped me 1,000 times during some very rough moments in the classroom. They don't even realize it, and I just put it in front of them, and it helps bring their mood down. Different breathing techniques. Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. Every day we start our day with some yoga, some stretching, some deep breathing. So they all know when they're upset, I can't understand you when you're this upset. Can you please take a deep breath? And then they'll take a deep breath and they can talk. And they realize, like, wow, when I'm crying, you cannot understand my words. Most of the time is when they are trying to express that to you, but they're so upset that they're not able to express it to you. And then it escalates, right? A place or something to let out anger. These are squeeze balls. There's little water beads in them. Hold that. Stress ball, same idea. To let all of your anger out. In my classroom, I used to have a basket of all of these toys. And when you're feeling those big feelings, they know it's open. All these books would be right there. Go ahead. Whenever you need a moment, you're sad because your parents just dropped you off, go ahead. Go to the calm down corner, which is very, very different than a timeout. It's just a place that they can feel safe and loved. and then have the emotion chart next to them so they can point to it. You could walk up and say, how are you feeling? They could point to it. I'm upset, I'm angry, or have these fun cards that they can play with and pull. So some tips with listening. So often these go hand in hand. When they're not listening, that's when we get frustrated. That's when they start melting down. So our number one would be to set limits and remind them often. Same idea with the timer. 5 minutes, we're gonna stop and we're gonna go take a bath. If you don't give them those 5 minutes and you just say we're taking a bath, it's basically just ripping their whole world from them and saying go. It's not a choice, we're in control. So if you give them that reminder, it often goes easier. But with that, you have to make sure they hear you. So in 5 minutes, we're gonna stop and take a bath, and then I'd repeat back, in how many minutes? And then they would say 5. And then if they're not listening, you can say, can you please turn your listening ears on? Are they on now? Those are just some friendly ways to say, please listen to me. You can use Alexa or something else that is telling them, time's up, go take a bath. And it's not you. You could say, hey, in 5 minutes, you wanna go tell Alexa? Whatever works. And then redirection, try to stay away from saying no and don't. This is very difficult, but they will listen to you more if you do not say no and don't. It's very negative, and so every time you say something negative, you need about 10 more positives to get them out of that negative rut. So if you're saying, no, don't kick that, no, don't do that, then all they're hearing is no, 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 no. Instead, I see you really want to kick that ball. Maybe let's go outside and kick. You're saying the exact same thing. Don't kick a ball in the house. I try to stay away from no and don't unless it's an absolute danger. Then they're going to listen to you a lot more when you're screaming no or don't at them. And then ignore it. If it's for attention, pick your battle. Most of the time it is for attention. If it's not something that's going to hurt them, you know every situation is different. But if they're just doing something just to irk you, just take a deep breath and ignore it. And maybe in 5 minutes they're going to get bored and they're going to go somewhere else. Or maybe you're going to go start playing with their sibling. And oh, wow, I really like the way you're doing that. I like the way you're stacking your toys, you're reading your books. Thanks for getting ready for dinner. High five. It works like a charm. As a teacher, I could not tell anyone to clean up, but if I tell that one, give them all the positive praise. Miss Brooke, did you see that? Miss Brooke, I cleaned up that toy. Can I go to the treasure box? All of those ways you're ignoring the behavior, but they're still doing what you want because you're giving positive reinforcement to the other. And then offer choices. It's raining outside. You need to wear a jacket. Do you want to wear one with a zipper or no zipper? They're in control, but you are saying it's cold, you need a jacket. Those are choices. Power of choice is what it's called. You're allowing them to choose. You can give them 2 choices. Sometimes multiple choices is too overwhelming. Here are 2 pairs of shoes. You want to wear this one or this one? And if they don't pick, okay, well then I'm going to pick for you. And that's perfectly acceptable. And then if it's still, we're going on for 5 minutes, we're crying about these shoes, we're moving on. Wipe your tears. That's not something to be upset about, right? It's just shoes. And just remind them. It's just a little thing. You don't need to be upset. We're going to go to school. We're going to do this. You're going to be fine. And then distract. Give them something else or start talking about something else. Put their favorite song on. All of those ways are ways to help them have a choice, but you are still in control. The biggest one is follow through. You have to mean what you say and say what you're going to do. So if you're going to threaten, you have to threaten with something that you're actually going to do. So you can't be talking about Santa in summer. It's not going to work, right? So it has to be something immediate. If you throw that toy again, I'm going to take it. Then they throw it. Now you pick that toy up and you take it. And when they say, no, 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 I want it back, don't give it back. You told them. So this is hard to do. But if you do this, they will listen to you more. They know, oh, that certain teacher, I can get away with it 5 times. Or, oh, I can go to my dad, and my dad will let me do this. So work on the same team here. And you got to mean what you say. So you can't say something that's unrealistic. Everything you say has to be something you can do. And it's something as simple as taking the ball away or that book away that they threw in the air for the 6th time. Give them 2 warnings. After that 3rd, then you take it away. And when you're listening, you can have it back. If you're pretty firm in the beginning, then you won't have to do it for as long. And then it goes like this with behavior. So you have to get back on the train, and then it gets better. Then back on the train, so strict, hard, and then it gets better. You could do rewards, sticker charts, prizes, and then try to wean out of that, because this is behavior we want to see every day. But they'll do a lot for just praise, just to be told, wow, great listening. You're not telling them, wow, you're so smart. You're telling them, great listening. That's a skill that they're working on, right? Thanks for cleaning the table. Thanks for throwing your dishes away. All those things are skills you want to see every day. So you're allowing them to hear that, and that builds their self-esteem too. So some ways to work on their listening and focus skills, playing games that help with this. So I Spy or Simon Says, those are all great ways to listen, and they don't realize that they have to listen to play the game. Sorting or cleaning up games while they're cleaning up. I need all the blue Legos in this square. Can you bring me all the red Legos first? They're not even going to realize that they're cleaning up, and they're so into the game that they'll do whatever. We played that actually over summer camp, and one of the teachers threw all the Legos on the floor and was like, bring me all the red ones, and I've never seen them clean up that fast. So that's why I was like, I know we can clean up. But all that is listening skills. Or can you bring me 5? Can you bring me 10? Now we're working on our numbers. All of those things will help us with our listening and our behavior in the end. Because usually when we say clean up is when we get the meltdowns, right? Singing songs and whispering. If you are whispering, they have to be quiet to hear you. Most of the time I'll just start whispering at circle time and it's silent. Instead of trying to talk over them, go under them. And you'll try it tomorrow and report back, but it works. They don't even realize it, but they are having to listen to you. They have to quiet down to be able to listen. And if you are up here, then they are even louder than you. So just bring the noise level down. If you want them to do something, you can say it in a stern voice, but you don't ever have to yell unless it is obviously danger. There's ways to say it in a calm, firm way. That all of those things will help with listening and focus skills. So some books, I talked a little bit about the ones here, but here's some other ones. This is a whole series all about hitting, kicking, all of the things. So you notice that we've been hitting a lot more. You just maybe happen to put that book in the bookshelf, maybe put it in the car that we're reading more often. You put it at the bedtime rotation. We're talking about it with them, not even realizing it. You can act it out with stuffies. This is one of my favorite things to do in the classroom. I will get 2 stuffies, one hits the other one starts crying, and they're like, oh, that's so mean, I can't believe you would do that. And I'm like, I didn't do it, Dino did it. And right there, we're reenacting this story about what happened, but they were the one who did it, right? And then how do you think this stuffy feels when you do things like that? Allowing them to feel empathy and label their emotions. This next one is Little Dinos Don't Push. Just talks all about the pushing. That's a common one when they do not have words and they're upset, so they're just using their hands. This is another series, it's Spot. They have little squish balls that go with it, all about emotions, so we're labeling how we feel with colors. And the feelings book, which is fun. I feel silly, I feel happy, all of those things. Once they're able to label it, it makes it easier. Some preschool age one, The Color Monster, and In My Heart we talked about today. These two, What Would Danny Do and What Would Darla Do? It's a book about choices. So if they make a good choice, the story goes this way. If they make a bad choice, the story goes that way, and they could see what happens. These are great ways to talk about things that are happening. Like Danny pushes his brother off for cereal, and he wants a pancake, so he throws a fit. All those things probably have happened. So they see what happens, and they will tell you, that's not a good choice, you should never do that. And then you can read those books when those moments are happening. There's a bunch more to this series, but I love them. And there's 8 different stories in one, and you could reread them 100 times to different ways. So it's okay to be upset as a parent or a teacher, and it's okay to allow your child to see that. I'm all for you crying in front of your child. If you're that frustrated, the morning has been that bad, they could see you crying, they could see you angry, they could see you upset. That's okay. That maybe helps them see that you're a real person. You have emotions. You break down too. And then say, like, you made mom sad. You made me cry when you hit me in the face. All of those things are normal. We can feel that way. So just remember that. And it's okay to need a break. I need a break from you. I do not like it when you hit me. So I will not talk to you right now. I need a break. That's okay. So all of those things, the biggest thing to remember, it's normal. It's hard. So just make sure you give yourself some grace. It also takes a village. You're not going to do this alone, but we're lucky to be a part of your village, so thanks for trusting in us. And just remember, you're not alone. You are one of many here, one of many who have asked in the past about emotions or how to help your child, but you're doing everything you can by showing up tonight or asking for help or reading books. All of those things are amazing. And then work with your child's teacher. They're your biggest ally. They know things about you that you probably don't realize they know, because your children tell us everything. So don't be shy. They want to help you. Some of my best relationships I've formed with parents is just openness. I've been like, hey, I heard you guys did this weekend. They're like, how'd you know that? I'm like, your child's 4. They tell me everything. And then they'll tell me, I hit my dad this morning. I hit my mom. They'll be very straight up. I've made cards for parents that went home at the end of the day because they did these things and they came to school to tell me and me to tell them that's not okay. And we talk about it. So absolutely at drop off, you can tell me we've had a rough morning, or hey, we're really doing great with this. What do you think? And then we can help put that into practice. Because if you're having a rough time at home, chances are we're having a rough time here, or the complete opposite. Your child knows that at school we do this and at home we could do this. So work on that. The teachers will say, hey, I talked to your mom and I heard we're doing this. Why? Most of the time they realize oh, wow, they talk. And I'm kind of caught here. So definitely trust in your teacher. They're here to help you. There's no judgment. Because then it helps us come to you. Hey, we've had a hard day. What works for you at home that can maybe work for me? All of those things are great. And then we're here for you. You all right here is a support system to entrust in each other, entrust in teachers, entrust in all of us. Thanks for trusting in me to give you guys information tonight too. But just know you're not alone. Here's some resources. This is from Child Mind Institute. How can we help with self-regulation? This is Daniel the Tiger. I talk about him a lot. He's incredible, and he has episode all about the ruined picture. He has a picture, it doesn't go right, he throws a tantrum. Maybe that's happened. So show him what it looks like when they throw that tantrum. And then during the episode, you could say, did you ever look like that? No, never. And you know. And then another one, how to promote self-regulation in child development. And then NAYC has an article, It Takes Two, the role of co-regulation in building self-regulation skills. These are all great resources for you guys to find more information about this. Any questions? I was joking with somebody, I could do this in 8 days. Just keep going. There's so much to this, and each child is very different. But if there is any broad questions, yeah.
So I'm still in the baby phase, but about to be in the toddler phase.
Uh-huh.
And right now we're just using the word no,
Mhm.
for the electrical outlet.
Yeah.
But my question is, doing the redirection is more positive,
Mhm.
but when they're that young and language is
Yeah.
they need simpler language. What is more important, simpler language or redirection?
In the moment, redirection. Yeah. Because they're absolutely understanding you. Unless it's an immediate danger, then no, absolutely is fine. But if it is, they can understand everything you're saying. Even though they're an infant, they're picking up all those words and they are hearing you. So you could just say, that's for parents touch only. That's for adults, it's not safe. Right there, same thing with like kitchen appliances, right? That's hot. So that we do not touch that because it is hot. You are still saying don't, but it's not as negative. And there's a reason to it as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I didn't understand. They are understanding
Yeah.
more than I realized.
Absolutely everything. Yeah. And that's how they're going to have all those words. Once it starts happening, they're listening to everything you say. Yeah, infants, it's crazy. And same with toddlers. You're basically talking to them like they're a preschooler. And so all of our kids know, like, obviously the door is a no, right? That's teacher touch only, parent touch only, right there saying the exact same thing. You may not touch that door, it is not safe, but it's a more positive way, and it's a way that they can understand it. So there's often ways to say things without saying it no, because then their favorite word is no back to you, and I don't think any of us love that one.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Yeah.
Our one daughter has a real tough time, like during certain times of day, regulating.
Mhm.
Like when she wakes up from a really long nap.
Yeah.
It's like disaster zone. Like there's no words that we can say, like no food we can offer, like no regulation advice, like any of
Yeah.
that like can even like apply in that moment. She
Mhm.
just is like overcome with this woke up emotion and just cannot, like in situations like that.
Mhm.
Like, is this something that's as simple as maybe you need some sugar? Like you've been up for
Yeah.
not sugar,
Right.
but you know, like maybe you need to have a snack.
Yeah.
Or maybe you need to have this. Like in certain circumstances like that maybe aren't triggered by an incident.
Mhm.
What do you recommend?
Yeah, biggest, I would say food. Yeah, maybe it's been that long of a period that they do need sugar or some type of something, water or something. And maybe you're not even asking, do you want this? You're upset. We're putting it right next to you. We're putting a book next to you and you don't want to talk to me? I'll just stand by. Maybe I'll rub your back. When you're ready to talk, I'll be here, and saying all those things. But I will joke with the teachers, like, I will rather give the kids whatever they want in that snack cabinet than to deal with a hangry kid, right? When we're hangry, it's miserable. So when they are, it's the exact same thing. Maybe she can't say, I'm hungry, I want that snack, because she can't make those decisions in the moment. So don't give her the choice about what the food is. Maybe just offer it and put her favorite toy next to her. I'm here if you need a hug. Do you want a hug? Giving her all these choices, but then if the answer is no and can't hear anything, just simply put the food next to her, maybe on the floor where she is, and then she'll start eating and probably calm down. And then maybe 30 minutes later, you could talk about it. What would you like? Or if you know what's going to happen after nap, maybe what can I give you when you wake up from nap that will make you feel happy today? Or what's one fun activity we can save in your room for when you wake up? Even if we wake up in a great mood and they forget, that's cool too. Or sticker charts work too. I can revert back to that with everything. But if you are having a really hard time every day, we wake up in this really bad mood, we don't want to go to school. You know, if you brush your teeth, you get one sticker. If you eat breakfast, you get another. When we fill up this whole chart, we get what we want at Target, you know? So start small and then work your way up to what you need. But in those moments, she's seeing red, can't self-regulate, doesn't know what she wants. And sometimes I feel like as adults, we kind of have those moments, but we don't know how to say it either. But it's kind of a cry for help without being able to say, I need help. Does that help a little bit? Okay, great. Yeah.
Dinner time's becoming an issue,
Mhm.
and I can't redirect. He doesn't want to sit on the high chair. He wants to eat, and it's just I've got to close the kitchen. Like I can't feed you. I want to feed, and it's time to eat.
Yeah.
And there's just some tantrums going on, and then gets off the high chair, and then 5 minutes later eat, and
Mhm.
no eating, and it's just becoming an issue.
Yeah. Consistency. So maybe you're going to keep putting them back in that high chair over and over and over again until they realize I don't have a choice. I would be very curious to see how they eat here. Ask your teacher, what does it look like when they're having meal times here? Maybe they could take you a picture. You can also show the child the picture. Like, look at school. You sit in your chair, you listen to your teachers. A lot of times they realize, like, oh, wow, she sees I can do that. So a lot of kids would, at home, maybe only want their high chair. At here, there's no high chairs unless they're in the infant room. So maybe try to make it fun. That's hard when they're seeing red, and toddler years are wild right there too. But it's just they want the power of choice. So maybe have him help you make his plate for dinner. Get a pretend knife, have him cut fake strawberries or even the real strawberries and bananas. And then maybe he'll have a little bit more want to eat because he made it. Those are some ways. Have a fun placemat. But redirection, if it doesn't work, then it's going to be tough for some time, but a little bit firm, but loving at the same time. You need to eat so you grow, and reminding them all of those things. Hopefully that answers it. Sorry, that's a... Well,
just eat strawberries.
Right.
I'm like, all right.
Yeah, eating is a hard one. And I will say I'm a picky eater, so you won't get that workshop from me. Any other questions? Yeah.
It's like use of timeout as like a consequence. You sort of talk about a safe place for them to calm down, but how do you contrast that with just kind of putting them in the room and
Yeah.
the door, and kind of how to use that? I guess,
Yeah. That's a great question. So everyone has a different belief with timeout. A lot of people use different words. I've heard reset. I've heard just go to your room. At school, we don't do timeouts. I personally do not believe in them, just because most of the time you say go to your room, and what are they doing? They're just playing with toys, or they're doing stuff to make you more mad. Instead, a direct consequence could work. However, there are times that you just need, you go away and I need a break, right? So that's okay too. But I believe that most of it's attention seeking. So you're just sending them to their room to not get the attention they want. It's actually the opposite. They're craving it more. And sometimes when you go get them out of timeout, they're more upset. Talk to me in 5 years when I have my own kid and I want to put them in timeout, but I'll have to practice what I preach there. But yeah, I would say most of the time just talking it through them, but giving them a direct consequence instead. So if you are going to act like that, you do not get this toy. Most of the time that will work more effectively than just go to your room. Or go to your room and I will come talk to you when you are ready. So you're not saying you are in timeout, you're just saying calm down and when you're ready, I'll come get you. Or let me know when you're ready to talk. So don't give like a time. You go to your room, you calm down, and then you come get me. So I wouldn't call that a timeout. I think a timeout is structured. You have 5 minutes. You sit there at that chair against a wall. Maybe I have PTSD from elementary school. But they're not learning anything. They're staring at the wall thinking of like, how can I make them more angry? Or they're already seeing red at that moment, and there's nothing there that's helping them calm down. So we have to give them those tools, talking it through, reading the books. It's more work on you, absolutely though. Is that kind of, yeah, I could go on, but yeah, I mean, I think there are definitely times where you're like, I just don't know what else to do. And I think that's when you have someone else swap in if you can. But if you're alone, it's definitely hard. And just read a book until I'm ready to talk to you.
Yeah, I think it's when that's impacting the other kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how do you move into a place where you can have that conversation without
Yeah.
being like a...
Yeah, and even I'm going to pick you up and we're going to go talk about it in your room until you're ready to calm down. Because it's not fair to your sibling when you act like that. And I mean, it's the same in the classroom when there's 20 of them and that one is throwing the tantrum. We do move them to the side or help them because we don't want every child to be involved in staring at them too, but not in an isolating way, but instead like a safe zone. Like it's just me and you, we're just talking about it. What do you need? Why are we acting like that? But every situation is different, and there are a lot of effective ways to use timeout, so totally use that in your best judgment. Any other questions? Yeah?
So we've been having this thing with with Libby where she'll come in, walk into the room, nothing has happened, and then all of a sudden head back, screaming, standing there crying, and it's just like, what switch just flipped in you? And then in the time that we're like trying to even, I don't even know what's happening. This little monster just walked in, and then she's like, the dog will walk by, and then she's like, nah, and then walks away like nothing happened, and it's like,
Attention.
do I need to address this? Like,
Yeah, I mean, you could say, why are you acting like that? Do you need something?
yeah.
Are you hurt? That's my favorite. When they're throwing their body, are you hurt? No. I'm like, okay, then stand up. Let's go. We're playing here. And most of the time that's enough just, or when you're laying on the floor like that, you scare me. And most of the time they're, oh, what'd I do? Like, what'd I do to scare you? And when you yell like that, it scares me. Do you need anything? And then most of the time it's honestly in the toddler years, just attention seeking. Just seeing how far can I push. And then they want you to give in on that. So that's when you would ignore. If it's happening all the time, you give in the first time you ask them about it, but they're going to keep, well, I guess you don't want to play with your toys. I'm going to go play with your toys and, oh, I'm fine now, right? Well, then you could be like, well, why are we acting like that? Or why are we doing that? And see if that helps. Yeah.
Yeah, because we do it when, like, she gets upset over something, she'll,
Yeah.
like, throw herself.
Mhm.
She's very dramatic. And so it's like, I'll be like, okay, soft spot
Yeah.
carpet here.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
I'm out. I don't engage with
Yeah.
terrorism. So, but it's the thing of, it's like walking into the room when she was totally fine, and then all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah.
it was like, what is happening?
All just for your attention. Isn't it crazy? Because they can't say, I want you. I want your attention. I need you. So I'm going to act. Because if I scream like that, you're going to look. And if I touch that door, you're all going to yell at me, right? So I'm getting what I want. That's the hardest part. It's they're brilliant. I hope you guys realize that. They're playing mind games. And then you're telling me these stories of, children that never do this at school, right? They know the difference. They know I could do this with my mom because she's going to get mad at me. But at school, I'm not going to do that because I don't need the attention. So working with your teacher to try to help that too. But yeah, that's called toddler years. Welcome.
Awesome. So excited.
It's fun though. But yeah, all of that is just attention seeking of what I can and ignore, redirect, and if that's still not working, then I would just be like very matter of fact. I don't like it when you yell like that. That hurts my ears. Those are all things you can absolutely say to let them know why you can't act like that. Yeah. Anyone else? All right. Here's my contact. You can email me anytime with any questions that you have. And then follow us at Miraculous Milestones Preschool on Instagram. We've been posting some things there to try to help engage with parents and try to get feedback as well, but also just sharing knowledge about ECE. And then our website there. But I was talking to one of the parents today. You never learn how to be a parent. I did go to school to learn how to be a teacher, so it is kind of a crazy thing that you really learn on the fly, and every single day is different, right? And just remember, you have to be flexible, you have to change, because I could act like I know everything I'm talking about right now, and then tomorrow, someone could come in with a whole new behavior that stumps me, but use it as motivation. That's kind of what I do. How can we solve this? How can we fix this? There's always a reason for every behavior. There's a reason to the why. So figure out the why. If you figure out that why, usually it all starts falling into place quicker. But I think that's everything tonight. Thank you guys so much. Please fill out the feedback form and leave it in the gold basket in the back. But I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.